Rami Khouri is a distinguished fellow at the American University of Beirut. He says while the development is politically symbolic, it's unlikely to make a large difference when it comes to the realities on the ground in Gaza.
Well, it's no surprise this has been expected, and it's really not a big difference from what the situation is now already. Israel controls all of Gaza from all the borders in the air and the sea. It's already totally in control of anything that comes in and out of Gaza. Very little they allow in. So this just formalizes a little bit the nature of the Israeli presence. That means they're going to go into some of the areas where there are still dense urban conglomerations of people in Gaza City and in the center of the Strip and things like that. There'll be closer contacts between the Israeli military and groups of Palestinians. But this is not a big difference from the situation that already exists. Israel controls about 85% of all of Gaza now, and it's just basically going to say, we're going to take charge of the whole thing. It's also not clear until the Israelis clarify this. It may not even be clear in their minds. What does it mean for them to be to take control of all of Gaza? They were in the Gaza Strip. They occupied it for almost 40 years, from 67 to 2005. They had 10,000 settlers. They had control of everything in Gaza, and then they had to leave because there was so much resistance, military and otherwise, to what they were doing. That and it was Ariel Sharon, this very right-wing nationalistic Zionist man who spent most of his life killing Palestinians. He's the prime minister who pulled them out, and so clearly this idea of Israel taking charge of all of Gaza is mostly political hyperbole designed to do two things: to make Netanyahu look tough in front of his people, and particularly his right-wing members of parliament and his cabinet, because many of them are getting jittery, and he wants to make sure he has a majority. And the other audience is, of course, the Palestinians. He's trying to scare them even more by saying, look, we're going to go all the way and control all of Gaza. And that doesn't really have a lot of practical meaning, more than what they're doing now. They're killing, they're occupying, they're subjugating, they're starving, they're moving people around. They can do anything they want in Gaza, and nobody is stopping them. So I think this is a politically symbolic, important act, but it's not really something that is going to make a huge difference in the realities on the ground. There's going to be more pressure on the Israeli government and Netanyahu to allow more humanitarian assistance in. There's going to be more pressure on him to make an agreement for a ceasefire, to exchange prisoners and hostages. There'll be more pressure on him to eventually pull out. He says that the only thing he said in one of his interviews yesterday was that this is designed to let Israel take full control of the Gaza Strip and then eventually turn it over, he says, to some kind of Arab force that would be in charge of management and rebuilding and governance and security. This is fantasy. These are the biggest issues in Gaza for its future. They haven't seriously been discussed anywhere with any Palestinians. They've been discussed with a few Arabs here and there, most of whom said, we don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, unless it really means the Israelis are going to get out and there's going to be a permanent agreement to give the Palestinians their rights and the Israelis get their rights. So we should not exaggerate what this means in practice, but politically it's significant, showing, I think, more than anything else, the desperation of the Israeli government and Netanyahu personally. Every single important constituency for Netanyahu is turning against him. The armed forces, his own people, the American public, global public opinion. Every single important constituency for him is treating him as what he is a criminal, and won't touch him with a 10-foot pole if they can avoid it. The only people who are close to him are the Republicans and some Democrats in the American Congress who rely heavily on Israeli-funded donations for their re-election. And of course, they're subject to the constant blackmail of Israel of saying, look, we're going to call you anti-Semites and terror supporters unless you support us. But that's the American Congress is about the last loyal constituency for the Netanyahu government. So I think we need to look at the wider political constituencies involved here and the practical implications of this move.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.